I come to the garden alone while the dew is still on the roses. And the chorus goes, he walks with me and he talks with me and he tells me I am his own. When I come out into my garden, I'm also reminded to count my many blessings. Count your blessings, name them one by one. I wish I could remember the names to all my roses. I just think they're quite beautiful. And every rose, with the exception of 2 in this yard, has been moved, transplanted. And roses are so hardy. They have diseases, yes, and they need care, but they're very hardy. When you go to old cemeteries, what's left? It's the roses. And most of these roses in my yard, if they were cut down to the bottom, they would come back the same rose. They're not grafted. They're they're a rose through and through. I'm not sure about this one. This one came from a nursery that didn't have that. That maybe some of theirs did and some didn't, but most of the others are all that way. And actually, it's not dew this morning that's on the roses. It's a rainstorm that has just come through. But the poppies, it's early enough. The poppies are not awake yet, but they'll wake up with the sun. Now, this rose, I do know. Her name is Sarah. I think it's a beautiful rose. And also my roses, and it's bloomed enough where it needs deadheading. But another thing, my roses have to pass the scent test. Do they have a fragrance? Do they smell like a rose? Yes, they do. And there they are. And I hope the camera is doing them justice. And this rose, some of these roses on the other side of the fence don't have quite the smell, but this one does. And it just blooms and blooms and blooms. And my climbing rose is getting ready to bloom also. And it'll just be a big bush of blossoms soon. And my pear, this is my Asian pear. It's beginning to bloom. And this little rose, again, it's been transplanted. It needs to have some dead cut off. But my daughter-in-law gave me that. It's a little miniature rose, and it's starting to bloom. My chives are beginning to be chivy. And they're semi-dwarf, but I notice they're making fruit. There's an apple, and I didn't know that they would have apples this year because we didn't have hardly enough cold weather to make fruit, but it's got a couple there. And the camellias starts blooming on December 3rd each year, and that's our anniversary year. Whoops, I bet that made noise. Okay, this is how my garden grows, and my roses, and I can't walk. This is a path through here, but my sweet peas, which will start blooming soon, are all jumped out of the beds and are down through the pathway. And they bloom so pretty that I just can't bear to think about taking them out of the path. But I love this rose. It has a wonderful, wonderful smell. And like I say, I wish I could remember its name. It's written down. Our names are written down. but I can't remember them. And my Mr. Lincoln, I'll take you over. It's going to be blooming soon. And so we are starting. We're in the midst of the Rose Show, the Rose Parade, but more is yet to come. Oh, over on the porch, I had visions of this rose growing this way, but it wants to come over, but it's also, this climbing rose is beginning to bloom, and it's basically a thornless rose. And do you know what thorns are? Thorns are just leaves that haven't formed. They're just formed into a thorn instead of bursting out into full leaf. Anyway, that's and it has a very wonderful fragrance. So when it warms up and begins to steam from the rain, the aroma out here will be quite nice. All you have to do is step out and smell the roses. So take time today to smell your roses, take time to meditate, take time to count your blessings. This is my Mr. Lincoln, and he's getting ready to bloom, and he has the most wonderful smell, aroma, fragrance. So have a wonderful day, and this is how I survive my 80s.